Hi guys, my name is Megan and today I thought I'd share some of my favorite memorable first lines from books with you. So there's just something about like that first line of a book that like really draws you in, or like it has to be good so that way you want to continue reading. And these are just some of my favorites that like really caught my eye or my attention. So the first one that we're going to talk about today is going to be the first line of Eldest. I went ahead and skipped the summary of Eragon, so I went straight to the first page of the first chapter, and the first line is, "The songs of the dead are the lamentations of the living." So I just recently started this book, and that line really kind of prompted this whole video of like, that first sentence from a book is very memorable and it really sets the tone for this whole book, which I thought was really interesting because it kind of foreshadows a lot of stuff that's going to happen in this book. That's a pretty epic first line for a book. Not gonna lie, it like really hooks you and it really like brings you into the story and it kind of captures your attention and you don't want to like stop reading. So the next one is the first line from A Darker Shade of Magic, and this is probably one of the like most quotable lines from this whole story, and it's, "Kell wore a very peculiar coat." So if that doesn't draw you in, I don't know what does, because it kind of gives you this sense of like adventure, but also like wonder of like, what kind of coat? What's he doing with it? What, where, and why, you know? I really love this one because it's so simple and yet it really like draws you into this whole series, and it's just so, it's such a simple little sentence that you don't even like think about, and then you go back and you're like, oh, that's what really cemented this book. So this next one is from The Daughter of the Pirate King. I loved this book, and the first line really does catch your attention. And the first line is, "I hate having to dress like a man." So right off the bat, you know it's about, and like it's starting off this great pirate adventure. Like I said, that first line really draws you in and it kind of foreshadows a little bit of what's going on, and like all the pirate adventures, because really there's no way you could miss the whole pirate theme for this book. It just has such a wonderful like atmosphere, and especially starting with that first sentence, it just sets us off on the right page. So the next book that I have for this list is going to be Nightlife, and the first line in here is, "Most kids don't believe in fairy tales very long," which right off the bat, that kind of sets this dark and eerie mood, and it's just so kind of intense. It kind of sets off this like dark and eerie kind of quality for this book, which is very fitting since this is a urban fantasy and it's kind of gritty and dark. So next up we have Spider's Bite. This is the first book in the Elemental Assassin series, and the first line in here hits this whole series like spot on. And so the first line is, "My name is Jen and I kill people." That sets off this entire series, and it really truly fits this character and this series, and it just sets like the right amount of, I'm not even sure, like the right amount of intensity, but it's also really interesting. So yeah, this one just has a really great first line. All right, so next up is probably one of the funnier first lines that I've come across. So that's going to be from Infinity, the first book in the Chronicles of Nyx series. So for this one, I skipped the like prologue because I didn't like that first line from the prologue because it doesn't really fit the rest of this book. So the first sentence of the first chapter, and this is, "I am a socially awkward mandort," and I feel like that fits this book so well. It sets off this tone of hilarity, but also a little bit sarcastic, and it's funny, and it's just such an incredibly good line to start this book series off with. And really it fits this entire series to a T, and it's just one of the funniest lines that I've ever come across in a book. So then the last book in this memorable first lines video is gonna have to be Summer of Salt. This was one of my favorite like magical realism novels, and the first line is, "On the island by the sea you could smell two things, salt and magic." And I feel like that sets off like this perfect tone for this book. It's kind of eerie but also very like earthreal, and it's just kind of different. Like, I don't know how to explain it, but it sets off this perfect feeling for this book, and it's just so good. So those are some of my favorite memorable first lines from books. There's just something about like that first line of a book that just like grabs your attention and just doesn't let go. So what is one of the most memorable lines that you have from one of your favorite novels? Let me know down below. If you guys like this video, don't forget to hit the like button. If you haven't already, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. You can also hit the notification button, and if you'd like to follow me on social media, check out the links down below. Alrighty, bye guys!